Quick test before we start. The video you just watched before me. What color was the shirt the creator was wearing? Let's keep it simple. What was the first word in the video? First syllable? Don't worry, I'll give you time to think. Boo! That was a lie. I'm not gonna give you any time to think. We become so used to not noticing what we are actually watching that you haven't even noticed that I completely stopped talking 5 seconds ago and this whole rest of this segment was read out loud by my editor. Quick story time. Last week, I was supposed to watch a show with my sister, and when I was about to start, we both realized that we'd forgotten our phones. So my sister goes upstairs to go and get hers, and then I pull up my laptop and put it beside me. Like, we intrinsically both knew that we couldn't start the show without having some device near us. I know I sound so old right now, but how can't we watch TV shows, moving pictures without using our phones? Like... Okay. Sorry to break the fourth wall. What? Professor Pa, what are you doing? Stop being dramatic. It's the companies. It's ironic that a lot of people who watch this video were actually just looking for something to watch while they brush their teeth, but whatever. Some people say it's because there's too much content to choose from nowadays. We went from having one channel to like cable with 300 channels, and now there's 4 million skip the toilet tutorials with like a Subway Surface overlay on the top. When I turn stuff on in the background, there's so much stuff to get through. I'm just trying my best to get through all of them at once. We are not addicted, we are just multitasking. And I genuinely used to believe this like a second ago, this dumbass opinion. Just before scripting this video, I went on Twitter for like an hour and all this stuff. Yeah, this isn't content. It's just noise. But why would I actively engage with noise? The thing that trucks make. Am I stupid? Don't talk foolishly, Clara. You are my student and you are very smart because you're watching me. But I don't blame you for thinking that you're stupid because like most of you, I started seeing this prompt on YouTube a lot more often. This pop-up has been plaguing me and it's super annoying for me because when I'm editing or playing games on my phone, I want to have YouTube playing in the background. Did I say it's annoying for me? It's annoying for Pa. We are not the same person. Okay. Yeah. So like in the middle of rounds, I just switched back to editing. And the whole while YouTube is playing in the background, the system just wicks. Like I get why people like to do work in coffee shops or crowded spaces. I'd say it's essentially the same thing. The background noise from the YouTube or Netflix playing behind me, it tickles the same part of my brain as the coffee shop does. But the difference between the coffee shop and Netflix and YouTube is that the coffee shop is very scary. They aren't scary and like Superman might fall out of the sky. What's really scary about the coffee shop is that anything random can happen to break the safety. While I'm in my editing space with Netflix in the background, there's no distractions, no stranger coming to tap me. Everything is safe, it's quiet, it's controlled. That's why we are so keen on rewatching nowadays. I know you've probably watched all of these, but yet you're gonna rewatch Friends tonight because it's Chandler and he's just gonna be funny and Joey is just gonna be stupid and Unagi. These apps are designed to keep us on them for as long as possible, but their greatest strategy is to make sure that we aren't paying attention. Because if we have an opinion on what we are watching, we might, I don't know, stop watching it. And Netflix would rather you're scrolling on your phone while mindlessly watching the new season of Emily in Paris than actually engaging with the show. Because if you engage with it, then you might actually form an opinion on it. And you might realize, actually, this is a pretty big waste of my time. And if you don't like it, you might stop watching it. Let's try something. I forgot my script. Let's try something. Let's all just be quiet for a bit. Do you hear that voice? That little guy squeaking in the back of your head? Yeah, we're going to call that guy your consciousness, okay? As people living in this internet age where we have everything everywhere all around us, we've all slowly developed the urge to kill our consciousness. Like when I'm playing video games, I'm also having something play on the screen in the background. Because like playing the game only occupies like 70% of my brain. And that free 30%, it can go running while doing whatever. I don't want that. You know how people have a fear of the dark, right? Like I'm not scared of the silence. I'm scared of what could come out of the silence. I'm scared that my own brain, my like inner critic, my consciousness will say some freaky shit that will like freak me out. So I don't know about you, but when I think back to being happy, I'm usually with other people. And when I think back to being sad, I'm almost always alone. Happy, great. Sad bad. Obviously, we don't want to be sad, so we just surround ourselves with all these countermeasures, even subconsciously, so that in the times that we are alone, we're never like truly alone. I know you see me and I'm so perfect, but even I, fake middle name Jake, I'm not immune to this. There's so much good media nowadays. Severance, everything, everywhere, all at once. Banshees of Inisherin. I'm going to keep a wall on Banshees because I love the Banshees of Inisherin. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But like, I can't rewatch it because my brain is so messed up now. I know people in real life who can't watch these movies. It's not like they aren't interested in it. The movie requires too much effort from them that they physically cannot watch the movie. One thing that struck me really about all this is that this isn't something that we are actively engaging with. It's not like TikTok. With TikTok, we can understand the dopamine hits that it gives our brains, and we understand the gamification and everything. Using TikTok for an hour genuinely feels like so much fun. But TikTok is free, and if it wasn't, I don't think a lot of us would be using it as much as we do. So why the fuck are we paying for Netflix if we're not even watching it? So I'm gonna be conservative. Let's do some quick maths here. Oh, my glasses. Pretend I have glasses. So, Netflix, single person cost is around...
Sorry, editor Paul here. So, Bob being the fuck-ass lazy nigga that he is,
Super, you have
forgot
to edit
put the audio that
this.
he said he would put here
I'm about
in
to see
here.
shock.
Basically, this is a general price breakdown, and I don't think any person should be paying for this monthly for a service that they aren't even using. Anyway,
I became a student and then I became broke. So I started this challenge for a month where I lived like my parents did, no technology, no whatever. One thing that you realize when you're not using these things is how little of a difference they make when they are out of your life. Like, I'm not saying they are not useful, but they are very much substitutable. So why are we paying for them? Have we forgotten that these things like aren't free? Like, you wouldn't go to the cinema and spend like $100 on a movie and then you'll not watch the movie. That's like going to a roller coaster and then, you know, just paying for the ride and just watching your empty seat leave. So I read this tweet about how, you know, a nigga is depressed when he starts going on walks. But I'm a nigga. Made me very angry. Not the tweet. Like, I was already angry and then shut up. Like, so I left my phone at home, which I usually don't do. And I went for this walk without my phone. And during that walk, I legit solved all the problems I've ever had in my life. I usually take a month to finish any video, from like experimenting to ideating, editing, scripting, all of that. I usually take somewhere around a month. While I was doing this challenge, the video that I made it in a week. During this challenge, I had this rule where 7 p.m. every day, I'd be able to watch one episode of More Than Fun. And during my rewatch, it was just so much funnier. Like, I was seeing jokes that I hadn't laughed at in years, funny bits and all these sorts of things. And I rewatch More Than Family consistently. So how am I now hearing all of them? And then I realized, oh yeah, I was never actually paying attention before. You remember earlier in the video when I was talking about how we've made our brains hate, you know, being completely by themselves? Yeah, if there's one thing our brains hate more than being alone, it's being bored. I was learning about the concept of a freedom number, right? So that's basically the amount of money you need to make every month to be able to comfortably retire in a certain amount of time, right? And in the middle of watching that video, it hits me. What the fuck am I going to do with all my time when I retire? Like, I hate school. And a lot of us, I'm sure we hate our jobs. But if we just retired tomorrow, like, what would we spend all that time doing? It reminds me of In the Good Place, and skip to this time, stop if you want no spoilers for the Good Place. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in heaven, in the good place, everyone is just a mindless zombie because they've had nothing to do for like the billions of years that they've been there. There's this guy named Sufjan. He's one of the greatest multi-instrumentalists in the world, right? He set out to make a project where he was going to record an album for all the 50 states in America. He did too. But a group of his fans, like 200 different people from all around the world, he set out to complete this mission for him. And they all came together and put all their talents and skills and everything together. And they actually did it. Like, the human brain is capable of a creativity that I don't think we can grasp it fully. And boredom forces our brains to use that imagination. I changed up my usual setup when I was editing this one to just being me and my laptop. And I just had so much fun filming and editing. And I think you can tell when you watch the video, because when you give your brain nothing to feed off, it will literally force itself to make something just so it can keep itself entertained. But to anybody who's tried any of this before, but social media fast a break from their phone, you probably come to a realization that being bored, that's just fucking hard. Don't skip to the end. Don't, please. We actually have to solve this problem. I know you want to hear the funny song at the end, but don't skip. Let's just solve this first, please. If there's one thing you can know for sure, is that you're not alone in this problem. This part of the video, this is where we fix it. If you've made it this far and you still don't think that this is a genuine problem that you have with yourself, What's the year written on my Christmas hat? You think I'm not gonna fucking help you? There's a couple of things you can do to try and fight this without going all nuclear like me. So first, start to consume media that demands your attention. For me, that was mostly older movies, right? But we all know the easy answer. Come on, say it with me, Michael. I know we all hate them nowadays, but guys, just read some books. Books and even old movies are made in a way that they weren't made for an audience who has the problems that we have with our attention. So they literally force your brain to put its creative powers to work just to engage with the content. So when it forces your brain to use that muscle, your brain starts to remember that it has that muscle to begin with. And when you do this, it works so that the next time that you're sitting in culture, you don't look like a 5-year-old who drank 4 cups of caffeine. But guys, the brain, it can be described as plastic, which is a good and bad thing. It's bad because now in the current TikTok social media space, we become retention hogs, but it's good because by implementing simple habits, we can shape our brains back to what they are supposed to be. Start going on walks to down music, start a personal project, start baking, cooking, gardening, collecting, actively learning. Any ideas that are a much better way to spend your whole day than scrolling through skibbity Twitter for 4 hours. And guys, in doing this, you just start noticing more stuff about the content that you consume, and so you have more stuff to talk about, and then you realize, oh my god, I remember how to form an opinion again. Then you're excited and you finally don't need to watch certain content anymore because now you can actually form an opinion for yourself, and you realize that you don't need others' opinions to validate your own. Now you don't get pissed off when somebody gives a bad review to something that you like because you can enjoy their review without it affecting your opinion. You finally feel free, and now you can go back to scrolling on Reddit for an hour whenever you think. I'm joking, don't do that. If you're stubborn like me but you're still serious about this whole thing, you could install this app. It's called Screens, and I'm not sponsored. It's just a good app. I watched it in another YouTuber's video, and it's really good. They set a limit for the day for each app, and go to the app store, check the app, see all the things there. If that's too much for you, you could also just turn off your notifications, or just delete the apps from your phone. That's also an option. But yeah, I actually wouldn't recommend that you watch current Netflix shows, even if you promise that you're going to focus completely on them, because season 5 of You came out right around the time I started my no phone challenge, and I used to love You, but I've never had to watch You without having a secondary device for stimulation. And my lord, I've never been so bored. I'm sure someone better on the internet will do a proper breakdown from You season 1 to season 5. But with this season, it's the legit root scenes with the idea in mind that you will be using your phone. So whenever something important is about to happen, it's oh, something important is about to happen. Maybe you should put your phone down. Start watching the screen. Please, we beg you. You start to realize the things that all these articles are saying are actually true, and you start seeing them in a way that you normally wouldn't have seen them before. This is even here on YouTube. Go to YouTube videos from back in the day. You'll notice how normal they are compared to YouTube videos now. For most channels that you probably follow nowadays who are actively pumping out content, you notice that the first minute is jam-packed with all the loudest effects and sounds and big pop-ups on the screen and all of that. But then the rest of the video usually just has a normal casual tone, what their actual video is, because they know that if they don't hook you in those first few seconds, they probably lose you for the rest of the video. They are just trying to get your brain to believe that yeah, this video is actually worth my attention, so that your brain gives them the rest of the attention for the rest of the video. And there's people who take this a whole step far. Your brain is 100% stimulated when you're actually engaging with a Mr. Beast video, because there's just so many things happening on the screen. So you're so stimulated that your brain doesn't even get the chance to think in the back and form an opinion. And trust, it seems like you're too smart for this, but girl, trust me, it works. Look, I did this in this video. If you made it to this point of the video, I want you to know that this trick, we all use it. I changed location 5 times at the start of this video. I've been in 3 for the rest of the video. It's just how it works. It makes a lot of sense because you can't remember whether or not you like the video if you can't even remember watching the video. And it was a double-edged sword, because for those of you who actually go the extra mile to try and confirm your likes and dislikes, what ends up happening is you just have to re-watch the video, because either way you're going to forget, because your brain wasn't given the chance to form an opinion on it while you were actually watching it. That's why consuming older media is actually such a good way to train your brain, because it wasn't made for the audiences that exist today. So all these tricks and funny tips that people try and use to keep their audiences engaged aren't in that media. Basically, it was made for people without TikTok brains. Another easy way to fix this attention problem that we developed is by more intentionally engaging with all the content that you're watching. If you made it to this point of the video, I said my fake middle name earlier in this video. What was my fake middle name? Before you leave this video and go to the next one you have lined up in your playlist, you know yourself, you know your likes, you know your dislikes, you know your interests. Ask yourself, why the hell am I actually going to watch this next video? What value is it going to add to my life? Whether it's education or entertainment or whatever, it should at least be doing something. Don't just have it on for background noise. Yeah. A couple years ago, there was this viral article about how Bill Gates doesn't let his children use phones until a certain age. And Steve Jobs didn't let his kids have phones at all. And freaking Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't even let his kids on social media. Guys, if they want to protect their kids from this stuff, I think you should care enough about yourself to at least regulate your usage. We've reached the point where me achieving the goals that I've had for my entire life, the dopamine and satisfaction that I'll get from all that is probably less than what I'll get from 20 minutes of scrolling on TikTok. And honestly, I just think that that's really sad. Before I end, let's play a game. If you lose, you have to at least consider some of what I've said today. Great. Now I'm going to ask you a question. You ready? What's the color of the shirt I was wearing at the start of this video? Okay. Bye. That was a lesson with Professor Pa. That was not a professor video. That was not a professor video. Oh my arms. Professor Pa, bum, 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 bum. End with song. What song am I gonna end with? And then you get it, get it, get it, get it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, flip it, flip it, flip it. You can say oh, twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it, mix it and mix it and mix it and mix it, kiss it, kiss it. Oh, you make me sing.